Hi, this is Ameila and Elizabeth, and we're here with Daniel from Carcass. Thank you for having this interview with us today. We really appreciate it.
No worries, thank you for having me.
That's okay. So how's everything been going for you?
Yeah, good. I guess, like everybody, it's a little bit weird. And, it seems like in the UK anyway, we're slightly emerging out of the other side, although we thought that last year and then it all just kicked off again. So, but yeah, I really can't complain. I've been very busy I've got two very young children, so I've been kept busy with them and, playing drums as much as I can. But yeah, I can't complain, even though it's a crazy time. Yeah, it's been all right actually.
I think all eyes have been on the UK as well from everyone. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely didn't do it quite right initially, especially. So
oh no, I think
we'll
it's impressive though. I mean, you're opening back up, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's quite strange. Like I know for me especially, I kind of enjoyed not having the pressure of having to see so many people. So
Yeah.
It's a little bit like oh god, now I have to go and do stuff again. It's a bit it's intimidating.
So your new album comes out on September 17th. So what can fans expect?
Oh yeah, good question. I'd say it's kind of hard to describe the new album, I think, anyway, because Surgical Steel, the last one we did, was quite kind of straightforward, thrashy death metal. I think as a band, we were trying to kind of prove that, especially the other guys, that they still had stuff to kind of offer, whereas this one's a little bit more, I don't want to say mature, that's probably a bit harsh on all of us, but it's definitely more diverse. I think it's got kind of aspects that of the entire band's kind of career. There's kind of groovier stuff, there's faster blasty stuff, and there's definitely a whole bunch of stuff the band's never done before. So I think it's definitely a bit more of a unique experience than the last one. I think it's better, but I think everyone will have their opinion on that. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think, yeah, I think it's a great album. So we'll see what other people say.
And what was your writing and recording process?
This is one of the reasons the album took so long to make, is because the writing process is, I'd say it's probably quite old school compared to a lot of bands. Most bands these days, not most bands, but a large portion of bands these days, they kind of start everything in a computer. They kind of write demos and stuff inside a computer, and they program drums, and everybody kind of learns the song from the demo that's written on the computer. Whereas Carcass is very, very old school, and the way it works is basically me and Bill, the guitar player, we get in a room, and he kind of shows me a bunch of riffs that he's got and a bunch of ideas that he feels kind of work well together, and between us we kind of figure out good kind of ways to link everything, and we figure out which drums could kind of, what the best drums are for each section. And then once we've got a whole bunch of stuff together, then the singer and bass player Jeff comes in, and he kind of rearranges the whole thing to make it work with vocals, and then after that we just kind of tweak it all together. And then but again, because none of it's done in a computer, it all has to be us in a room, because especially Bill and Jeff, they barely know how to kind of answer emails, let alone use any kind of, well, no, that's not true of Jeff, actually. Jeff's pretty good on a computer, but Bill has absolutely no interest in using a computer, and he's the main music writer. So it's just all of us in a room, and especially after the last album, we were touring so much that to kind of get that time together in a room, not just to get that time together, but to actually want to be in a room together after being on tour for so long. You want to break from each other. You don't want to come straight back and start talking about making new music. You kind of just want to be at home and ignore them for a couple of weeks. So kind of getting that time in the room was it took a long time to piece all this stuff together. And then there was recording it, which again took a while because we had to do it in chunks because we were still touring. So we did the drums first, which is relatively standard, and then we had a couple of months away because we were touring and doing other stuff, and then we went back and did guitars, and then we had to do another couple of months away touring, and then so largely because of touring, it kind of made everything take so much longer. But it's cool though. It's a very it's a very organic way of writing. It's kind of almost like people do when you're in like a high school band or whatever. You just get in a room and jam it out, it's really cool, and it's kind of, it brings a very different vibe than learning something off of a computer or off of a programmed drums demo. I think it makes it a lot more organic and a bit more of a live feeling. That's what I like to think anyway.
Well, I think it would be fun to be in the studio anyway, so...
Yeah, it can be. It can be quite stressful sometimes because
right.
All eyes are on you, and you don't want to mess up.
Do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. You got one chance. Do it right.
And your album cover is a heart made out of vegetables. So can you tell us how you came up with this?
Yeah, it seems to be quite polarizing, the album cover, but this was not mainly, this was 100% Jeff, our singer's idea. That's kind of his world, is artwork and visuals and all that kind of stuff, and again, I'll probably get some of this wrong, so it's definitely best asking him if possible, but yeah, there's a type of Japanese art that kind of deals with or kind of depicts decay and death and all that kind of horrible stuff, and he was really interested in it. And there was also another type of art that he discovered, again, he will know much more than me about this, but that was making, I think it was body parts out of vegetables, and he kind of had the idea of mixing the two, basically making an organ out of fruits and vegetables, and then seeing the decay of it and seeing what it would look like, and it was one of the ideas he had. He had a whole bunch of other ideas, but that was kind of, when he told me and Bill, we were a bit like, okay, that sounds interesting. Not really sure what it could look like, and then he sent it to this guy called Zbigniew from Poland, who'd been wanting to work with the band for a while. And we didn't hear from him for a while, and then he just sent back these images of this sculpture that he'd made. It was nothing crazy. It was literally just a sculpture, and he sent pictures of it against a white background. And I think all of us were just kind of blown away with it. We didn't expect it to be that striking. And I think, the fact that it is literally just an image is kind of cool. There's no CGI or magic going on, or Photoshop trickery. It is literally just an image of a sculpture on a white background, and I think all of us thought that was pretty striking. And I think why it's so polarizing is because it's a little bit different to most normal metal album covers. There's no black on there, and it's white, and all the other colors are quite rich, kind of bright colors. So I think it's stepping outside the box of metal a little bit, I think, which I think is a good thing, and I think that was the aim with the album cover, was to try and do something different and striking. So I think it worked for what we were trying to do, but it was it's definitely taken some people by surprise, I think.
Do you have the sculpture? I mean,
no, because it is it's natural, so it all just decayed and fell apart.
Oh, right,
and,
okay. I would love to see you take it out on tour in like a plastic version or something, like do a
that'd be
3D,
sick, wouldn't it?
do a 3D printed version of it and like take it out on tour.
Made of plastic. Yeah, well, we could ask him to do another version that could be preserved forever.
Yeah.
But that one is the original one is obviously just kind of turned into mulch, basically. Yeah. It's probably in someone's compost right now or something like that. So.
Well, the worms are happy then, I guess. So there you go.
There you go. See, we're helping the world.
Yeah. So you also have a knife and fork and plate set with one of your albums. So tell us about that.
Well, that was, funnily enough, again, this was more Jeff's thing, but I think that started out as a joke. That because these days, especially, everybody's trying to sell as many physical copies as possible, because there's no money in streaming, as we all know. No. So physical copies are kind of where bands try and make some money back from all this music stuff. Everybody tries to do something that's a bit different and a bit unique, so that not just so that people will buy it, but so that people have collectible stuff that with what's it called, NFTs and all that stuff being kind of interesting now. I think having one-off, one-of-a-kind things is really quite cool now, because everything's so instant and everybody can access everything all the time. It's quite nice to have exclusive things. So the label kind of wanted us to do something like that, where we could offer something kind of limited that only a certain number of people could get, and I think, I can't remember what their original idea was, but it was a little bit less silly, should we say. And I think Jeff, as a joke, said, oh, well, if you're going to do that, you may as well just go all out and make a full dining set. And he kind of meant it as a joke, and then Gerardo, our guy in the States, was like, that's a great idea, and then kind of ran with it. and then he sent us all these kind of proofs, these ideas of how we could do it, and I think all of us were like, oh, well, that was actually a joke, but okay, if you guys want to go with it. And then it slowly turned into this thing, and I think it's kind of cool. I hope I can get one when it gets released, but I know they're really limited because they're quite expensive to make, so I don't know if we'll be allowed to have one each, but that would be quite cool. Except
I would love like a dining set of all these different bands. That would be the coolest thing
cool,
ever.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would use them. So like, there's
so many band logos that would look really cool on a knife and fork and a plate as well.
I know, right?
So I think. Hopefully, I mean, bands have been doing mugs for a long time, so I guess, and even Carcass have got Carcass mugs. So I think this is kind of taking it to the next step. Hopefully, we'll start a cutlery and dinner set revolution. We'll see.
Sign me up. I'm in. And now we're going to ask you our signature question. So if you could have any band play one of your songs, which band would it be? Which song would it be? And would it be in your style or their style?
Wow, that's tough. Yeah, that's really tough. I'd have to go with the first thing that came to mind with the band would have to be Pantera, because I'd just love to. Cool. I feel like Dimebag and Bill have obviously they're not similar, really, but there's similarities in their playing, and I think hearing Dimebag kind of interpret Bill's riffs would be pretty serious. But yeah, and obviously hearing just Pantera play together again, obviously, which is not possible, but
no.
Yeah, having Pantera do it in their style, I think, kind of interpret it, and I don't know what the song would be though. That's really tough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go with the newest one. So yeah, Pantera playing Kelly's Meat Emporium, I think would be pretty sick.
And
that's a good question.
You're gonna play Damnation Festival in November. So it's your first festival since 2020. So what can fans expect, and are you excited for it?
Yeah, we're kind of excited and intimidated and a little bit scared, because I think we've had so long off now that it's... Well, I know for me, and I was speaking to Bill about this the other day, because he hasn't played with a plectrum this whole time. So he's only been playing, like finger-style guitar.
Yeah.
Kind of like classical guitar for the last 2 years. So he was a bit like, oh crap, I've got to really do some work, because initially in theory there's this other tour that we announced with Behemoth and Arch Enemy, but that's still so wildly up in the air that no one knows what's happening. I think because restrictions are so crazy over Europe, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. We're still kind of up in the air. So we've confirmed this festival in the UK because the UK is doing really well. As right now, who knows what's going to happen in the next few weeks? It all changes, as we know, doesn't it? It changes day by day. But as it stands, the UK is doing really well. So we thought, right, we'll at least confirm one UK show that we know should happen, and then we'll see what happens with this tour. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to play some new stuff, because obviously the album will be out. We'll definitely play at least a couple of tracks. I hope we can play some stuff that's that hasn't been released. Hopefully some stuff that's some deep cuts, as it were. But it all depends on how much time we get to practice, and how because I think once we actually get in a practice room for the first time, which we're going to do in the next couple of weeks, it'll tell us how bad it is or how good it is, if you know what I mean. So we could get together and we're like, oh god, we're going to have to practice every day for the next 3 months to get up to scratch. Or we could surprise ourselves and it could actually be all right, in which case we could think outside the box a bit more and try some more songs here and there. So I think obviously we'll play the classics, but we'll definitely try and play as much new stuff as we can. And I think our goal is to just try and make it as good as possible, because it's been so long that we're all I think we're all a bit nervous to get back to it and to get back up to speed. But it's nice to have a goal. It's nice to have a reason to get back in shape now, because it's kind of been, we've had so much stuff that's been confirmed and then it's been cancelled and then confirmed and then cancelled, and so we like to think this one should happen, because again the UK seems to be doing all right at the moment. Yeah, so we're just all super excited to just get back out there. So I think we'll have to try not to wear ourselves out in the first couple of songs by going crazy. So
Nice. Another one I noticed you're on, and it's our favourite festival ever, is Hellfest.
oh my god, that is it. Well, yeah, you and me both. It's just the best festival in the world, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that again, that's. I mean, it feels like a long way off, that one, but it's going to come round very quick as time just seems to disappear, doesn't it? Especially at the moment. Yeah, I mean, that one's going to be. I think that's going to be really special, because again, that's one of our favourite festivals, and I think we played that the year before lockdown as well, and that was, again, it's always just incredible, that one. Just as a fan, walking around and watching bands, it's incredible. As a band, they treat you incredibly well, and everything. Yeah, it's just great. I just love it, and the weather's always good. So it's just, yeah. We just can't wait to get back to those kinds of situations again. We've all just been kind of dreaming about it, I think, for 2 years now, pretty much.
And last question, is there anything else you would like to say to your fans?
Just thank you. I think the fact that people still, because again, we released Surgical Steel 8 years ago, which is crazy thinking about it. But the fact that people still care and are still super excited about this new music is just, I think it's more than any of us ever expected. We get messages every day just saying how much people like the new music and how excited they are about the new album and coming to see us play again. So I think it's just, just a massive thank you for sticking around and still caring after all this time of no new music, and then obviously a pandemic getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just thanks. It's just great. It's just, it blows my mind every day that people give this much effort to this music that we all love. So yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having this interview with us today. We really appreciate it.
No, pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.